When you hear Cold War, what do you picture? Two superpowers? Nuclear missiles? Tense handshakes? The United States versus the Soviet Union? But what if I told you that the countries who suffered the most weren't either of them? The Cold War wasn't just a rivalry, it was a global shadow war, and many developing nations paid the highest price. Yes, the Cold War was about ideology, capitalism versus communism, Washington versus Moscow, but they rarely fought each other directly. Instead, they fought through others, in places like Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, Angola, and Latin America. Local conflicts became proxy wars. Weapons flowed in, money poured in, foreign advisors arrived, and ordinary people, they paid in blood. Millions died in wars that weren't originally theirs, but became battlefields for global influence. To the superpowers, it was strategy. To smaller nations, it was survival. The Cold War wasn't only fought with guns, it was fought with secrets. Intelligence agencies like the CIA and the KGB interfered in elections, funded coups, and supported regimes not based on democracy or freedom, but based on alignment. If you were anti-communist, you might get support. If you were pro-communist, you might get support. But if you were neutral, that was dangerous. Media became a weapon. Propaganda shaped narratives. News wasn't just information, it was ideological ammunition. Entire generations grew up believing carefully constructed stories about the enemy, and many countries were pushed into political instability that would echo for decades. Here's the part we don't talk about enough. The US economy grew. The Soviet Union expanded its sphere of influence. But in Africa, Asia, Latin America, and the Middle East, many nations were left with civil wars, military dictatorships, debt crises, and fractured political systems. When the Cold War ended in 1991, the superpowers shifted focus, but the scars remained. Some countries are still dealing with the consequences of battles that were never truly theirs. The Cold War wasn't just USA versus USSR. It was ideology versus humanity, power versus stability, strategy versus sovereignty. And while two giants competed for dominance, many developing nations carried the weight. History remembers the superpowers, but history should also remember who paid the highest price. History is deeper than what we learned in school. Follow for more untold stories from the past.